Hi guys, my name is Kesar and welcome to my YouTube channel where I talk all things nutrition, hormones and periods. Today we are talking all about how food affects our hormones, and I am going to be sharing with you my top 10 food tips on how to balance your hormones. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. Make sure you subscribe and introduce yourself in the comments box below. Okay, tip number 1, eat the rainbow. Make sure that you have at least 5 servings of fruit and vegetables every day. Yes, I'm pretty sure that you've had this one before, lots of times, but today I'm going to tell you exactly what and why. So I'll start off with the non-starchy veg. These vegetables are so rich in vitamins and minerals. They've got lots of fibre and water. And they also have a low glycemic index, so basically very wonderful. So please go wild and eat as much of these vegetables as you can every day. I'm going to quickly focus on cruciferous vegetables, so things like broccoli, kale, cauliflower, cabbage, because they contain so many nutrients that our hormones absolutely love. First thing I want to mention is indole 3-carbinol. So this is a compound that is derived from eating cruciferous vegetables, and this can help our body from absorbing toxic forms of estrogen. And the second is glutathione. So this is an antioxidant that is made in our bodies by eating sulfur-rich cruciferous vegetables. So because the breakdown of estrogen predominantly occurs in your liver, you want yourself a high-functioning liver. And that's where glutathione really comes into play, because it is super useful in supporting your body and your liver to flush out all of the toxins and any extra estrogen that you have hanging out. So next up we have the starchy veg. So these are a great source of carbohydrates, and they tend to be more filling than the non-starchy veg. My final word on veg is that they are also great anti-inflammatory food. Why is this important? Well, oxidative stress and things that are not necessarily in our control, things like lack of sleep and environmental pollutants, can put a real damper on our reproductive health and also our risk for chronic disease. And research has shown that a greater intake of vegetables with their anti-inflammatory properties has been associated with a lower incidence of oxidative stress. So it's a win-win all round. So now we move on to fruit. Like vegetables, fruits contain so many nutrients. They're a great source of fibre, and they are also a healthy source of carbohydrates. But they also contain substantial amounts of natural sugars, which is why when you're trying to eat the rainbow in a single day, it's better to place more emphasis on vegetables than on fruit. Saying that, fruit can be a great snack, especially if you pair them with some protein and fat. So my favourite is apple slices dipped in peanut butter, and this will balance the effect that the fruit's natural sugars have on the body. This is important because a vital aspect of maintaining good hormonal health is keeping your blood sugar levels in check. Tip number 2, have at least 3 helpings of phytoestrogens every day. Phytoestrogens are great because they help to reduce the toxic estrogens in your body, and they also stimulate your liver to produce sex hormone binding globulin, which controls the amount of estrogen and progesterone that's circulating in your blood. Remember, we are always thinking about promoting optimal balance in the body. So opt for foods such as soya, flaxseed, chickpeas and lentils. Tip number 3, eat more whole grains. This one's quite easy because you just have to make some simple swaps to stuff that most of us eat every day. So for example, you want to change your white rice for brown rice, you want to eat wholemeal bread instead of white bread, and you want to change your cereal to oats. So whole grains, in addition to foods such as flax seeds, quinoa and sweet potato, are rich in the mineral magnesium. This is such a good mineral for hormones because it helps the body achieve the optimal balance of progesterone and estrogen. So for those of you who suffer from period pain, magnesium can really help to relax the smooth muscle contractions in the uterus, so helps to alleviate cramps, and it can also combat pounding and painful menstrual headaches. Tip number 4, up your fibre intake. So most of us need to be eating more fibre, with government stats showing that we are eating just over half of what is the recommended daily allowance, which is 30 grams. The good news is that if you are adopting the other tips in this video, so eating more whole grains, fruits and vegetables, then you will be well on your way to increasing the amount of fibre that you are eating on a daily basis. Pulses are a fabulous form of fibre. I can go on and on about all of their goodness, but the main highlights is that they double up as vegetarian sources of protein. They are an excellent source of resistant starch, so starch really helps to feed the healthy bacteria in your gut. They are also rich in vitamins vitamins and minerals, and they help you to feel fuller for longer, really helping to support improved blood sugar control and insulin sensitivity. So why is fibre so good for hormonal health specifically then? Well, fibre encourages the swift elimination of toxins and hormones out of your bowels. So for those of you who suffer from estrogen dominance, particularly common in conditions such as PMS, PMDD, endometriosis, PCOS, then listen up, because fibre is your friend. So think of fibre as acting as a magnet, so sticking to all of the extra estrogen that is hanging out in your liver and your large intestine, and then pushing it out of your body through poo. That is what fibre is, and that is why it's so good for hormonal health. Tip number 5, keep up the good fats. Fat is brilliant and so necessary. I mean, did you know that your brain is predominantly made of fat? That you need fat to build cell membranes and to protect the sheaths that coat your nerve cells? When fat is removed from a food or is absent in a meal, you will end up eating more, because fat is what makes you feel full and satisfied. But why fat, specifically in relation to hormone health? Well, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, cortisol, all of these hormones are manufactured from cholesterol from dietary fat, which means that your intake of fat is essential for hormone production and function. If you suffer from a known hormonal balance or a gynaecological condition, then take a second to look at how much fat you are actually getting in your diet. So, a quick lesson on the different types of fats that you want to be including in your diet. So first up, we have monounsaturated fats. These are liquid at room temperatures and include things like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, eggs and olives. And then we have our healthy omega-6 fatty acids, so nuts, seeds and unrefined seed oils. And then we have our omega-3 fatty acids, so oily fish, nuts and seeds, the type of fat that most of us know about, but actually most of us are deficient in. These fatty acids are known to be really beneficial for us and help to reduce things like inflammation, period pain, PMS, acne. Omega-3s and fats in general are vital during the preconception period, pregnancy and postpartum, because they are crucial for a growing baby's development. It's also worth noting that nuts and seeds, so almonds, cashews, sunflower seeds, all great sources of fats, are also rich in the vitamin zinc. This is a vitamin that we don't store in our body, so it's important that we get enough from our diet. Zinc is so vital for good hormonal health because it is needed for the production of essential menstrual cycle hormones, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, both of which are needed and are crucial for the development and the release of an egg during ovulation. So be sure to eat a portion of oil-rich foods every day. Tip number 6, reduce the bad fats. First up, I want to mention polyunsaturated fats in the form of vegetable oils, so sunflower, canola, corn. A lot of us use sunflower oils when we're cooking, so please take note. These oils are heavily processed, so the heat, the chemicals, the light that they're exposed to during the processing damages their delicate bonds, which in turn makes them super harmful to us. And secondly, we have saturated fats, so found in animal foods such as red meat and in dairy. Now these foods can have their benefits, but saturated fats are also more likely to contain something called xenoestrogens, which can block the body's ability to absorb all those wonderful essential fatty acids that we were talking about earlier. So don't overuse these products, and if you do opt for food containing saturated fats, just make sure you go organic and make sure that you're eating the highest quality form of that food product. Tip number 7, eliminate sugar from your diet. So hopefully you all know by now that high sugar intake is linked to poor health. And I'm talking about the white powder stuff. I'm not talking about the naturally occurring sugars that you can find in foods such as fruits. Now I won't spend too long talking about sugar, apart from reminding you that lots of sugar can result in weight gain, and fat cells themselves can manufacture estrogen, causing an estrogen overload in your body. Tip number 8, drink plenty of healthy fluids. Always start your day with water. It rehydrates you, it wakes you up, and it gives your bowels the little nudge it needs to get going. A mantra in my household is always hydrate before you dehydrate, which for us means to always have some water before having that first cup of coffee in the morning. always. If you can, make sure that the water you drink is either mineral water or it's filtered, because the chlorine and the fluoride in the tap water can sometimes block the iodine receptors in your thyroid gland, resulting in a hormonal imbalance. Water is also super helpful in combating that pre-period bloat. So it's quite common to experience bloating and constipation just before your period, and that's because there's a lot of the hormone progesterone at this time, and one of the effects that progesterone can have is to slow down digestion. Unfortunately, just increasing the amount of water you drink just before your period can really help alleviate those symptoms of constipation and bloating that you get just before your period. My final word on fluids is just to reduce the amount of caffeine and alcohol that you're drinking. I know this is super boring, but alcohol especially places an extra toil on your liver, just making it that little bit harder for your body to eliminate all of those old toxic hormones that are hanging around in your system. Tip number 9, choose organic food. I'm a big believer in buying the best food that your budget allows for. You don't have to go all out organic, even one swap is better than none. So when you're considering what organic foods to swap out and to spend your hard-earned cash on, I would prioritise the Dirty Dozen. This is a list of the most pesticide-laden foods, and it's produced by the Environmental Working Group every single year. Commonly features strawberries, nectarines, peaches, spinach, apples. The first swap that we made was apples, and then we slowly started incorporating more organic foods into our diet where we could. So why the big deal over organic food? Well, organic food helps to reduce your exposure to harmful xenoestrogens and other toxins. And actually, one particular time in life when eating organic is probably best is when you're preparing to conceive or you're already pregnant. This is because pesticides from food have actually been found to be present in umbilical cord blood in newborns. So it's crucial that exposure to pesticides and other chemical nasties is very much limited when the babies are in utero. My final tip, tip number 10, thank you if you are still watching. I know this one has been a long video, but hopefully it has provided you with so much useful information. So my last tip, make sure you get enough vitamin D. Vitamin D is basically the quarterback of reproductive health. It has its hand in every play, to hormone building, to the development of embryos, to the production of brain neurotransmitters, and also to the absorption of calcium. Did you know that our bodies cannot absorb calcium without enough vitamin D? It's also necessary for turning on hormones such as estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. You can get enough vitamin D for the day through just 15 minutes of sun exposure, so sitting outside. And you can also get it through consuming fortified foods, so things like cereal, milk, eggs, they're all fortified with vitamin D. But in the winter, when there's not a lot of sunshine, or if there's another lockdown and we're confined to our houses once again, there's no harm in supplementing with vitamin D just to ensure that we're getting enough every single day. And that's it. Those are my top 10 food tips that can really support good hormonal health and promote balance. There's so much in this video, so start small, perhaps by incorporating one tip into your diet each week. What and however you do it, make sure that it works for you and for your lifestyle. Don't be prescriptive. Simply work within these guidelines, and I promise that you will feel so much better for it. If you have any questions or comments about anything that I've discussed in this video, then let me know in the comments box below. In the meantime, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you've liked it, and if you want to continue to know more about nutrition, your body and your hormones, then subscribe to my channel right now and you'll be the first to know when my next video has been uploaded. I'll see you next time.